This is Street Smart on the ground. Short, practical travel answers from the road. Quick note before we start, I'm not a lawyer. This isn't legal advice. I am not telling you what to do. I will be sharing some of what I did, and at the end of this video, sharing 5 specific street smart principles that will help you avoid the situation that we're going to discuss today. I will be reading some of this verbatim because I need to choose my words very carefully. Now, what I am going to do is show you how to navigate real-world systems in the developing world so that you can stay out of trouble and avoid very costly and difficult situations like we're going to be discussing today. And today I'll be talking about something I've been hearing and seeing stories about down here in Ecuador. It's not about one person, it's about a pattern that can emerge whether you're trying to get your visa process sorted out or find a medical professional or somebody to help you find a rental unit or buy real estate, whatever it is. There's a pattern that you need to be aware of, and at the end of the video I'll share with you 5 specific street smart principles to help you avoid falling into traps like the people we're going to discuss today sadly ended up doing. And by the way, I'm not trying to make light of the situation. This was the biggest concern I had coming down to Ecuador and applying for residency, was when I pay somebody to help me navigate this process, because it's not worth it to try it on your own, I want to make sure that they're going to get me to the result that I need with the least amount of friction and problems along the way. So I didn't use a visa facilitator like we'll be discussing in this video. I went for a lawyer, an immigration lawyer. Does it cost more? Absolutely it does. But for the peace of mind and for the seriousness of the process, I decided it's worth it for me to not have to deal with issues like I'll be discussing in this video. If I pay a bit more and I know that I'm going to get to the end without having to deal with these things, that's money well spent. The story that I've been hearing: expats come down to Ecuador, they decide, yeah, I want to stay here, so they hire a visa facilitator. That person in the past had a great reputation, and by the way, when I was looking for somebody 3 years ago, this person's name kept coming up. And the reason I can't mention names in this video is because the defamation laws in Ecuador are very stringent. So if you publicly accuse or defame somebody, even if what you're saying you believe that to be true, there's consequences for that, up to and including jail time. This is why I'm not mentioning any names in this video of anybody. The expats or expat comes down here, they find a visa facilitator that had a great reputation in the past and say, okay, this is my person. Money exchanges hands, paperwork doesn't get filed. So they trust this person to do what they're being paid to do, and it doesn't happen. Then communication slows or stops entirely. From the government's point of view, none of that background matters. They only see what's being officially filed or not filed. So why does this catch people off guard? Because, like me, from the West, I just assume that things work this way where I'm from, so they work the same way down in Ecuador or other parts of the developing world. No, they don't. In reality, information ages faster than reputation. So if somebody had a good reputation 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years ago, 6 months ago, doesn't mean that's still the case. People find information from old posts. It might be an old Facebook post in terms of who am I going to hire to do this process. It could be word of mouth. And again, that intel may be years old, and it may not still be true today. Now, the situation that these people sadly find themselves in is that they have overstayed visas because their temporary resident paperwork was not filed. They thought that it was, but apparently it wasn't. Now they've overstayed their tourist visa. When you come to Ecuador, you get 90 days on a tourist visa. You can extend that another 90 days if you follow the process, for a total of 180 days in a year. And if you don't follow that process and you overstay your visa, you're looking at having to leave the country, having to pay a fine, and having to deal with a lot of stress and time pressure that could have been avoided. The immigration office doesn't care who you hired. Deadlines don't pause because somebody else dropped the ball. It's your visa, it's your responsibility. The 5 principles, street smart principles you can use to help you stay out of a situation like this. And again, I'm not trying to belittle this or to make light of it, because this is serious business. And my honest hope is that the people that find themselves in this situation and have to pay fines and leave the country, I hope that one, they have some sort of recourse, and that they don't give up on the process, that they find somebody who can actually see it through and will see it through, and they get the residency status that they were looking for in the beginning. 1. Recency beats reputation. Like I stated, if somebody had a great reputation in the past, doesn't matter how long ago in the past, you need to make sure that's still true today. What is their reputation today? Somebody who's dealing with them now, talk to them. What are your experiences like? How's communication been? Have there been any issues? You need to know that. Principle number 2, proof beats promises. If you don't have hard copy proof that fees were paid, papers were filed, and that you have proof of that, that means it doesn't exist. You can't assume somebody has done that because they said they did. 3, principle number 3, silence and lack of communication is a signal. Don't ignore it. That's a huge problem. I have talked to so many expats, and I was having that issue as well, until I made it very clear, when I contact your office, I want and need a response within 24 hours. I don't think that's unreasonable. If you're too busy, don't take on more work or hire a bigger staff. That's a you problem. That's not a me problem. Principle number 4, responsibility doesn't transfer. This is your visa. This is your responsibility. And principle number 5, old intel is worse than no intel. So old information is worse than no information because it sets you up with a false sense of security. This is what I heard, so this is what's true. Again, maybe in the past it was true, but that false confidence can put you in a really fragile place, and you can end up in some really, really uncomfortable situations and expensive and frustrating, and nobody needs to deal with that. So you don't need to assume bad intentions. You just need to protect yourself against outdated information. I'll be covering more of these on-the-ground lessons in this Wednesday series. Not to scare you, but just to raise your awareness and to give you some principles and a map, a way to move forward. That's Street Smart on the Ground. Episode number 1. Short answers, real-world risks, practical ways to avoid them.